This episode of the Irish Dance Podcast is being brought to you by Dunleavy Boyle Bremer Academy, inviting you to the New England Autumn Feis and Grade Exams, September 22nd and 23rd in Boston. This two-day event features grade exams up to grade 12, music competitions, an Irish soda bread bake-off, a second chance prelim competition, a charity dance-off with proceeds to benefit the Fighting Sullivans, a charity dedicated to Claire Sullivan TCRG's battle with cancer, and of course a North American Feis Commission approved championship. This is the 8th annual Feis, featuring a diverse panel of adjudicators, renowned musicians and competitors from all over the Irish dancing world. Dunleavy Boyle Bremer Academy looks forward to seeing you in beautiful New England this September. For more information, please go to southshoreirishdance.com. My name is Martin Percival, and you are listening to the Irish Dance Podcast. Folk dance to phenomenon and beyond.
Hi everyone, I'd like to introduce today's guest. He's all the way from Drogheda. He's a two-time world champion, a musician and an entrepreneur, and he's here today to talk to us about the ultimate Irish dance workout. Please welcome Mr. Stephen Carolan. Hey Stephen.
Hi Martin, how you doing?
I'm good. This is the first time I've done an in-person interview, so it's going to be really interesting. Normally it's a Skype call, so I can be a little bit more disorganised perhaps, but here we go. So how did you get started in the Irish dance world?
I suppose I started dancing when I was about 8 years old. Some of my cousins were dancing at a ceilidh and they asked me if I wanted to go, and I went, and I just loved everything about it. So got the shoes and off I went the next week actually. So
that's brilliant. I love that. It was cousins that got me involved in Irish.
All right, yeah.
So it's great that it's community and family based. I think a lot of us started that way, but that's good. So, how old were you?
I was 8, so it was in or around the time when Riverdance started to come on the scene, which is exactly, yeah. And I started off dancing with Miriam McCarthy, who is based in my hometown of Drogheda. I danced with Miriam for about 6 years, and then I decided to move schools to Francis Curley and Olive Burnes, which was known as Scoil Rince Oirialla, for those of you who might remember the name, or some people used to say Oirialla. They weren't sure how to pronounce it, but I danced with Francis and Olive for 6 years as well, and enjoyed many successes with them.
Yes, I'm sure. 2 times world champion. So just briefly brag about it.
I don't like bragging about it, but I managed to win 3 Ulster titles, an All-Ireland title, 2 World Championships, an All-Scotland and British national title as well. So
that's pretty good credentials.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
When did you start the music?
I actually only started to learn music from scratch when I was 16. So in Ireland they have an optional year in secondary school called transition year, and it basically kind of gives you a break from the exams. You can take up new subjects that aren't necessarily involved in the curriculum, and it just gives you more time to pursue extracurricular activities. So when I think it was in October when I was 16, my mum bought me a keyboard. And I actually learned music myself. I taught myself. So can't read music. Yeah, I can't read music or anything like that. So I just learn everything by ear.
Yeah. I used to play the clarinet, and not very well, but I used to play by ear as well. I at one point knew how to read music. I couldn't now for the life of me.
Yeah.
But I came from a musical family. So is there anybody else in your family involved?
Yeah, I suppose some of my cousins are involved in music, but not trad music. They are like singers and guitarists, and some play piano and drums and stuff like that, but I'm the only one doing the trad stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty cool. I love the fact that you did it in your transition year. Like, I wish I grew up in England. We didn't have any of that stuff. My niece and nephew are over in Ireland, and they are doing the transition year. Well, they have done it. He's done it, and she's about to go into it. And it's a great thing just to give yourself a bit of a...
It really is, yeah. It just gives you extra free time to, if you had kind of thought of something that you wanted to do, but you didn't really necessarily have the time to do it because you do your junior cert just directly before the transition year. So that's when I just started to play, and I suppose it was a little bit different for me because I was so heavily involved in the dancing end of things that a lot of the tunes were kind of stuck in my head anyway. So, like, particularly for set dances and stuff like that, I found it quite easy to pick them up from the get-go.
Well, because you'd heard them so much.
Just because they were just stuck in my head, so...
No, I totally understand that. I mean, you leave a feis and you can't stop.
Yeah, it just goes through your head, for hours.
That's the thing, though. I mean, I always leave... I feel like I was quite a musical dancer because my teacher's mother was a musician.
Yeah.
And so... It's important. Music is really important to me, but I never know the name of the tunes or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like when I hear a hornpipe, I'm like, oh, that one, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So, but you obviously know all the tunes. Do you make up your own?
I do. I compose tunes every so often, but composing it's not something that you just kind of sit down to do. It's either there or it's not. So if I kind of have something in my head, I'll just sit down and I'll do it on the spot. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I could be working on something business related, and this tune will come into my head and I'll just go straight to the keyboard and just get on with it.
Well, that's
fantastic. They come pretty quickly,
the inspiration.
So
that's brilliant.
It's good.
No, I love that. And does it happen at weird times?
Yeah, I mean, it could be 10 o'clock, it could be 11 o'clock. You wouldn't know what time it was. So
your poor wife now has to deal with that.
Exactly. Well, she bought me a pair of headphones so I can actually just listen to myself if she doesn't have to listen to it. So
brilliant.
Or the neighbours.
That's brilliant. So when did you retire from? When did you hang up the shoes from dance?
So my last World Championships was in Glasgow in 2007, and that was my second time I managed to win the Worlds, and I actually managed to win it with a perfect score. So I think it was quite appropriate to say, right, enough is enough, and we'll leave it there. And it was a great high to finish on. So a couple of months after the Worlds, I decided to join Rhythm of the Dance, and I toured with those for about a year and a half. Did a world tour, China, Russia, America. It was great. Tour life is something that I would definitely encourage people who are around that age to go and do. But I suppose for me, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't really my thing in the end. I didn't really like the idea of living out of a suitcase and getting on the bus for 10 and 12 hours at a time. So I suppose that's why it was short-lived. It was only a year and a half, and I was happy that I did it, but that was enough for me.
Yeah, it's a great experience. It really is. And I suppose it just depends on the production you're with.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I think, but I agree with you. I would recommend anyone to give it a shot.
Yeah, definitely.
So after that, then
it was after that. Yeah, it was after that I decided to get into the feis music. So I literally got home in May, and I played my first feis in the July. So I think it was,
who is this
guy? Should he not be dancing on stage? That's what they were saying. So
you do both.
No. But it was quite a surreal experience going from being on stage for so many years to kind of in the background, sitting side stage, actually providing the music for dancers. And even some dancers that I grew up with were still competing at that stage. So it was kind of weird playing for your friends nearly, So I've been playing feis for about 10 years now already. So
yeah. You're familiar on the scene.
That's
great.
it.
No, it's great. Your music's lovely. But it is. I'm sure it must have been really strange getting into that position. But we love having you with playing fresh stuff.
Thanks very much.
I I don't know. It seems to me like, did you have an advantage because you came from the dancing side of things? I mean, you definitely know what dancers are looking for.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose I did in a way because, you know, as I said, it was easier to pick up the tunes than maybe a trad musician who was never involved in the dancing. And especially with trad musicians, lots of them, they'll have tunes to beat the band, but when it comes to something as simple as a heavy jig, they're played so much slower than what they're used to.
Yeah.
And often they can find it quite difficult to actually play at that speed.
It's like dragging it out.
Yeah.
But and what I particularly like about the big competitions, the big American competitions.
Oh yeah, indeed. Yeah, the North Americans.
That you have somebody accompanying you when you're playing, or you're accompanying somebody else, or whatever. And it's always a much fuller sound.
Yeah.
Especially when there's Carolan, they add more people in.
Yeah.
It's always really lovely. Is it hard? I know now most of the musicians have their drum machine and kind of thing, you know, just to help some of the dancers that might not be the best in terms of their timing. Oh dear. But is it hard to play just by yourself, solo, for dance competitions?
I mean, it's definitely easier, as you say, to have another musician with you. So I suppose, again, when it comes to my main instrument, I play the keyboard, and there will be a lot of musicians in the feis scene who play keyboard, but they don't play the actual tune, so it's called vamping. So basically they'll just accompany with chord progressions all the time, but they don't play the actual tune. Whereas on my keyboard, I play the melody, and I also play the chords as well. So I suppose that's why there's a fuller sound when I play along with somebody else, because there's two melodies going at the one time.
So it's like back in the day, like my dance teacher's mother was a piano player.
Yeah.
She played the piano accordion, but she didn't play that at a feis. She would play the actual piano.
Yeah.
It was there, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's more like that.
It's the modern version, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I do obviously play feis on my own as well at times. It can be enjoyable because you can kind of test yourself with new tunes and, you know, play around with different things, whereas when you're playing with somebody, you kind of have to be on the ball all the time and kind of get the melodies as tightly together as you can.
Yeah, and it's like a common language then of the
exactly,
that you know together. Yeah. I know. I listen when I'm judging. I always hear the musicians and they're shouting out the A or C or whatever.
Yeah, the keys. Yeah,
embarrass myself now. Much about music. Anyway, but so you're here to talk about the Ultimate Irish Dance Workout. Let's just assume that nobody knows anything about it, so we'll go from the top.
From scratch.
Yeah. What is it all about?
So the Ultimate Irish Dance Workout, it's a new idea, really, more than anything else. Basically, what I've done is I've come up with 9 music tracks. Some of the music tracks contain voiceovers, and they take the Irish dancer through different phases of how they should be practicing, basically. The first track is called Mobilisation. So to this track, you should be kind of stretching and getting all your muscles ready before you start dancing. The good thing about the Ultimate Irish Dance Workout is that we've also recorded 9 instructional videos to go along with the 9 tracks. And we were very, very lucky to get 3 world champions to come and demonstrate the workout as such. We have Aisha Coyle and Matthew Gardner and Zoe Talbot. Those are our 3 dancers, and the 2 fitness instructors that I've come up with this idea are Ronan Mee and Owen Joe McCauley. I actually used to go to Owen and Ronan to the gym about 2 years ago. So we kind of touched on the subject a while ago. But we decided, you know what, we're going to try and put this into action. So after the World Championships this year, we sent out the message to the dancers, and I got in touch with the 2 lads. We picked a date. We went to Dublin to record the videos, and I had the music done actually at that stage. So I had about 2 weeks to get the 9 tracks done. We recorded the 9 videos, and it was just done. It just came together so quickly, just out of nowhere, you know. So we released the album on the 1st of June, I think it was, and the 9 videos are actually available all the time on Facebook, but in order to access the videos, you got to download the album on either iTunes, Google Play, or Amazon MP3. So what you do is, once you've downloaded the album, you take a screenshot of your album purchase. We've gotten lots of questions as to how do you take a screenshot, or what should the screenshot be of. The screenshot is really optional, and to be quite honest with you, every screenshot that we've got has been different from the next. So it really is up to yourself. As the album is actually downloading on your phone or your iPad or your laptop, just take a screenshot of it. If you have the receipt, take a screenshot of the receipt. If you have it on your iPad, your phone, whatever, just send it in to us. And once we get that, once we know that you've actually bought the album, we send you a link straight away to a closed Facebook group. So all you got to do is, once you click the link, join the group, and we grant you access as soon as we can. And the videos are there. They're all uploaded to Facebook. You can use them whenever you want.
That's fabulous. Okay, so my head is going to explode, because it's all, this is a brand new idea.
Yeah.
I love it. Is the whole thing your brainchild?
It is my idea, I suppose, but I got to give credit to my wife as well. She was involved in it too. She I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying, but she definitely had some input in the ideas, and also the 2 lads, Owen and Ronan, as well. The music obviously was, left up to myself, but I suppose the main part of the album that hasn't really been done before is the tracks with the voiceovers. So what we've done is we've come up with 4 pyramid tracks. So we've got 1 reel track, 1 slip jig track, 1 heavy jig track, and 1 hornpipe track. And on the track, I just play the tunes as normal, but I actually tell, if you're listening to it like through your earphones, I actually tell the dancers when to stop and start. So the way it works is, the dancers will do, say, step 1 of their heavy jig. They'll take a break for 8 bars. I'll say, okay, step 1 and 2. So they'll do their step 1 and step 2, and I say 5, 6, 7, go. They do their 2 steps. They break for 16 bars. Then they do their full dance, break again for 16 bars. They do then their step 2 and 3, break for 8 bars, and then they do their 3rd step to finish off. So the idea behind the pyramid tracks is that we're trying to take the dancers to a level of fatigue similar to what they would feel when they're on stage, because, as you know from being a dancer yourself, when you're up there and you're doing a full dance, you're absolutely exhausted by the end of it, with the lights and the audience and the music and everything else. It takes so much energy out of you. So it really gives you the feel that you've just done your full dance on stage. The way that you can use the pyramid tracks is that you can take whatever 2 dances on you're working at the moment. So you can take 1 light and 1 heavy dance. I wouldn't recommend doing the 4 pyramids together. It might be too much, but it's just something new, and it's never been done before, and we're getting a good response now so far. So definitely check it out if you can.
No, absolutely. So it is something new, and it's an interesting concept. It really is. So what feedback have you been getting?
We've got some feedback actually from different schools as a whole, and that they've used it in class, and they say that the kids love it, but not in the sense that they get so tired, but that they think it's really helping with their fitness. So it'll be interesting to see over the next couple of months, like, the actual results that people are getting in their class. And I would encourage anyone who has it out there already to send in what you think, videos of the kids doing it in class. and basically how their fitness levels are coming on. I tried doing some of it myself, and I can safely say that it's not an easy workout, but it's definitely manageable, and over time, if you can build it up, you'll be guaranteed to be fit as a fiddle.
Yeah,
for sure.
So the whole I'm sure it's a really difficult workout, because I know I couldn't do it, but then I'm an old man, but I would have loved to have been able to do this when I was a dancer, and I think you have a really unique perspective because you're a musician and a dancer.
Yeah.
So you have the perfect credentials to put this program together. So that's why I really like it. So you said there's 9 tracks altogether. So you've got the mobilization, you've got the 4 pyramid tracks.
So the order we have it is the mobilization, that's, as I say, for getting your muscles warmed up and ready to go. So in the mobilization video on Facebook, you'll see the 3 world champions with Ronan, and he takes you through step by step what you should be doing, what way you should be stretching, how you should be positioning yourself, and so on. The second video and track is the warm-up track, and you'll see Owen Joe in this track with the 3 dancers as well. So the warm-up track, I wish I had something like this when I was dancing. I really do. It's so good for getting you in fesh mode and in dance mode, really. The warm-up can be done by literally anyone. So it doesn't matter whether you're 6, 16, 26, whatever. Anyone can do it. It involves different drills like cuts, hops, trebles. It's in there. So the warm up, I think it's around 8 minutes long. So again, there's some parts of it that there's actually not a lot of dancing. So the middle section, they're called heel raises. So it's basically just standing still and going up and down on your toes, but the action that it gives your calf muscles is just incredible. Warming everything. It really is, yeah. And heart rate, all of that. Yeah. So, and there are breaks for 8 bars and 16 bars in the warm-up track, so it's not just 8 minutes straight through. So,
that's the other good thing about the whole program is it's all Irish dance music.
Yeah, so with a twist.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's great, because it just keeps reinforcing for the kids, especially ones that have issues with timing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Kind of thing. It's always reinforcing our counts and all of that kind of thing. So I think that really helps as well. So anyway, sorry. Carry on.
You're okay. So after the warm-up, that's when you have your 4 pyramid tracks. So video-wise, what we've done is we've just taken one of the heavy pyramids and one of the light pyramids, because we felt we only needed 2 to kind of demonstrate how the pyramid tracks actually work. So you'll see Matthew Gardner doing the hornpipe pyramid, and I got to tell you guys, the album is worth buying just to look at Matthew strut his stuff. His hornpipe is one of the best hornpipes I've ever seen. So it's amazing. My
claim to fame is that I taught when he first started dancing. I was his first teacher.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, I obviously didn't teach him that whole time, but,
very good. I didn't know that.
I started on the road on that journey anyway. But he is an
amazing dancer. Yeah, brilliant.
Absolutely.
So good. And then for the real pyramid, you'll see Zoe Talbot. Again, amazing dancer. She danced with On Kogol, so a different dancing organisation. She managed to win 12 world titles in On Kogol. So, I mean, that in itself, it's very hard to win 12 of anything. So, for her to win that was great, and to see her demonstrate the pyramid, we're very lucky to have her. So, then after that, we've got the combo track. So again, this is something brand new. It's never been done before. I decided to make a track combining 3 different dances. So it starts off with your heavy jig. You get 32 bars of your heavy jig, 32 bars of your hornpipe, and then 32 bars of your reel, and the tracks just go straight in, like one into the next. Again, we're very lucky to get Aisha Coyle down to demonstrate, and the combo track, we've come up with a set of dancing drills that we feel will be really good to use in class. Again, very simple stuff, but so effective for getting the heart rate up and really working on the little bits that I think a lot of people kind of miss out. Like they forget to pay attention to just small things like treble back up, click down, just skips and clicks and things like that. Just there's different combination of drills.
And this is all based on your experience and the dance.
Yeah, and I suppose I'm lucky in a way that I get to see dancers perform every single weekend at Feshes, and I know what kind of stuff people are doing in their steps, and I know what will be appropriate to the right age and stuff that everybody can do as well. So again, the video is there as a guide. You don't necessarily have to do what Aisha is doing in the video. We just feel that this would be really good for you to use in class. Teachers can come up with their own drills,
of course,
and put those to the music as well, or even the children themselves. They can make up their own and have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
Yeah.
So we're at the combo. What else? And
we've just one more then. So the last track. It's called Home Stretch.
Oh, brilliant!
Which is quite appropriate, we felt. And actually, the second reel on the home Stretch track is called Homer's Reel. So, okay, you get the connection now. It's two slow reels, and it's kind of more of a chill out vibe to what people are used to with Feis music. In the video itself, again, we see Ronan Me. Ronan himself is not actually involved in the Irish dance world, but he's a fully qualified fitness instructor, and he actually lectures in DCU, which is Dublin City University. So he really knows his stuff.
Yeah, and he looks very fit.
He is, yeah.
But you can tell he's not an Irish dancer from his feet.
He's not an Irish dancer, but he won't mind me saying, but I think he competed in, these Strictly Come Dancing things that they get to dance with a local celebrity, and he actually won it. So I think he was trained up by Owen Joe. So you'll see Ronan again with the three dancers in the background, and it's a cool down track, reduce the heart rate and get the blood flow back to normal, and it'll just help with the whole process. So it's actually something that you can use even if you weren't to do the whole workout. If you wanted to, if you were at dancing class, and most teachers, I suppose, would just be like, okay, that's enough, and you can go home now, leave. You can stick on the track and just kind of chill out for a while,
Yeah, and that's why I like the whole program, because it covers everything from walking in through the door, leaving. So it's great. It's great for the dancers, and I think it's important, especially in this day and age. The dancers we're asking so much of our dancers. So a proper warm up, proper, training, and then proper cool down is vital. So you're covering all the bases, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and I suppose that the main reason that we felt that the Irish dance world needed this is that there are so many dancers who are really, really good dancers, but their fitness level just isn't there. And if you notice with the top ones, their fitness level is just through the roof at the moment.
Yeah.
And in order to compete with that, even if you're a really good dancer and your fitness level isn't there, you can get missed, and we kind of want to bring that middle group up and give them the best opportunity they can to compete with the best,
Well, I've seen it myself this week at the North American Nationals. There are quite a lot of dancers who, die a death, as we call it, because the stamina's not great, and so you're speaking to that, which is absolutely fantastic. And yes, it is like some people, if people don't know Irish dance, they would think they're only on stage for a minute and a half, whatever it is, the length of time that they're on there. But you have to be so fit in order to keep the huge amount of energy and stamina that you need to get through that dance to a high level, to a high standard. So I think this will be great for, especially for the listeners to this podcast. I mean, it's just something else to add to their repertoire, add to their fitness regime or whatever routine that they have, because I think most dancers have to be cross training now in order
absolutely
current.
And you see so many dancers out there, you know, that they go to the gym twice and 3 times a week. I suppose, you know, I'm not taking away from that, and I think that's great, and, you know, each to their own. But our workout is kind of designed specifically for the Irish dancer, and it does combine stuff that you might be doing at the gym, but it's combined with dance.
Yes.
And I suppose that's the unique thing about it.
It is, and it's very unique. I know from myself, my own personal journey back to health. You know, you get older, you retire from dancing, I stopped competing, I stopped teaching, and then I just, you know, put on a little bit of weight. But there's nothing like getting back into shape. There's nothing like dancing to get back in shape, because it's what your body is used to, and it's, you know, what it responds to really quickly. So if I need to get back in shape, I've just got to put my shoes on and I've just got to get going.
Absolutely, yeah.
So this is just, you know, keeps everyone at a tip-top condition. I love it.
Yeah, that's the idea anyway.
Well, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. And I'll put notes in, you know, the show notes and everything. How, you know, the website and your iTunes and all of that. We'll put all of that business in, and then the Facebook link and all of that.
Cool. Once
people have purchased it, of course.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant. But if you don't mind, we'll just talk a little bit about the Irish dance competition scene at the moment. Mm-hmm. You've come from a commissioned school, and you've worked with Zoe, who's a Kogel dancer, and there are other organisations out there. But how do you feel about the competition scene at the moment? What do you like and what don't you like about it?
I really like the competitiveness of it. You know, I think it's getting harder for some people, but at the same time, you need that drive to push yourself to your limits. You know, there's no way around hard work. You just gotta get down to it and get the business done. The dancers, as I said before, they're so fit. Even when I was competing, even in 10 years, the difference that I can see between when I was dancing and nowadays is just unbelievable. Yeah, it is. It really, really is. And I suppose that the material that the dancers are coming out with nowadays, it's so intricate that you really do need to be fit to do it. If you're not fit, you won't be able to actually, you know, execute your steps the way they should be. As I say as well, I love the music. I love providing the music for dancers, and this week's been great actually at the North Americans, because I've got to meet up with some of my old competitors who are now teachers, and I haven't seen them for years. So we had great catch ups there the last couple of days.
It's a lovely community.
It's great, yeah, and it's great to still be involved, even if it is side stage, right. Playing the music after all these years, you know.
But you have Irish dance albums.
I do indeed, yeah. I've got, let me think now.
So many of them.
I've got a few. We've got the Feis Machine 1 and 2, so they have 12 tracks each, I think, and they're all open tracks. I brought out one there a while ago called Beginner Tunes, so and that's tunes with a CHOONES. And as the name portrays, it's designed for beginners, so if you're in Bungrad or just starting out, that's the album for you. And I've got 6 long tracks, so I think they're all over 10 minutes long, so you can, you know, they're great for teachers as well. I've done a collaboration with a button box player, a fantastic musician from Belfast called Kieran Graham, and we recorded every single set dance at every speed, so they're all available online now as well. And who knows, you might see more collaborations in the future, Martin.
You're a busy man.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So okay, I'll talk to you as a Feis musician, because most of this podcast is that we talk about Irish dance, but do you see changes in the Feis musician world as well? Like, I mean, is there an evolution happening there in terms of the music?
I think there is, and I think there has been for quite some time. I mean, years ago when I was dancing, it was all about the tapes and the CDs. But nowadays, there's not a tape or a CD in sight. Everything's all online on iTunes and Spotify, and exactly, and turn the tape over and try again. It's just evolved so much. I managed to, come into the feis scene musically just at the end of the CDs. So I had a couple of CDs out when I started first, but as I say, everything is all online now. So and I'm sure that will evolve again, even in the near future.
But it's always lovely to have live musicians at the
it's fantastic, and there's so many competitions nowadays that it gives me the opportunity to do so much travelling. So obviously I've played in Ireland for years, and that's been great because I work as a school teacher during the week. So my normal routine is that I'll work Monday to Friday, and then I'll be off to a feis somewhere in Ireland. Gallivanting is right, but it's allowed me to travel to the USA, play at the North Americans. I've played in Australia at the Australian Nationals, and it's fantastic. I mean, anyone who's even thinking about getting into the feis music scene, I would say go for it. There's always a shortage of musicians, really, and I suppose a lot of people who wouldn't be involved in the music wouldn't be aware of that. There's just so few people that can actually do this trade. It's quite a unique job in itself, and just delighted to be part of it. And it's great.
We appreciate you being a feis musician, definitely. So when you're in competition, do you always play with the same musicians, or do you mix it up?
I tend to mix it up with my musical partners. So I've had some fantastic opportunities to play with musicians from all over the world. To name a few, this week I've been playing all week with Sean O'Brien, he's also a dancer, and just really enjoyable to play with. His music is amazing. As I said before, I've recorded the set dances with Kieran Graham. I get to play with Paul O'Donnell as well. He's from Belfast. Some of the Scottish musicians, Jerry, Seamus, all the usuals.
The well-known characters.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think maybe even this week on the last day or two, we might swap about. So I think I might maybe even play with Cormac O'Shea for a day, and Brian O'Sullivan as well from Glasgow. So
do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy the mixing of styles?
Yeah, I really, really do. And also Kevin Joyce, I forgot to mention Kevin as well. I mean, it is quite difficult for me because, as I say, I play the melody. So in order to play with so many musicians, you really got to have a very extensive repertoire of tunes. If you're a musician and you kind of tend to stick to the same 20 or 30 tunes, it doesn't give you that chance to really play with that many different people, because everybody has their own repertoire. So the bigger your repertoire is, the more that allows you to actually branch out and play with different musicians. And as I said before, I've played with people from all over the world, and particularly the Scottish style of playing, it would be very different from, say, some of the other musicians who might stick to more modern stuff. So I really, really enjoyed it. It's something I love doing. I love playing with different people. So
and it's great for, some people, like the dancers that come in, they do their dance and they go off stage, but for the musicians and the adjudicators, it's important that there's a change of tunes all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And even this week, you've got Anton and Sully in one hall, you've got myself and Sean in another hall, you got Cormac and Brian in another hall, you got Pat King and Brian Grant in another hall. So it's great to, I'm sure it's nice for the adjudicators to go in to a different hall each day and kind of listen to the different different musicians playing together. So you'll hear a huge calibre of tunes throughout the week. So
yeah, the calibre is phenomenal, and it's really uplifting. It's lovely. It's so lovely to hear it, and thank God for it, really, because otherwise, when you're sitting there watching 170 hornpipes, that could get...
It can be quite monotonous. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure it is to play it as well.
It can do, but as I say, it's nice to have a long list of tunes, because it just kind of, it keeps you in line, that you're not just kind of playing the same stuff over and over again. I like to challenge myself, and I'm sure Sean does as well. So when we play together, I might pick a tune that he hasn't played in a long time, or he might do the same as well for me, and we'll say, all right, we'll give it a go, and 99% of the time it works out great. So it's great. I just love it.
So do you always play the melody, or do vamp as well?
I do vamp as well. I also play the accordion, the piano accordion too. My preference would be to play the melody. I just, from a dancer's point of view, I just think having the two melodies is it's just great. It gives you that extra lift. And I remember when I used to compete myself, back in the day, you had Liam Bradley and Damien McKee. They were the original partnership who came out with the accordion and then the melody on the keyboard as well. And Liam himself would have been somebody that really inspired me to take up the keyboard in the first place. And I used to love when they played for me at Feshes, and I used to be hitting the ceiling. Literally.
Absolutely. No, it was when they came on the scene, it was it was like a breath of fresh air. And not that the music wasn't wonderful before that, but it was just a change. And really it kind of shook it up, in a good way. Everybody steps up to all the musicians step up to the plate, and they're all doing a phenomenal job. So we love all of that.
I find it interesting as well, because you have the likes of Kevin Joyce, who, when I was practicing my set dances at home and in class, I would have danced to his CDs for years. I think it was called The Final Round, and it would have been the first CD to have all the set dances on it. But now to actually sit down and play tunes with him, it's just surreal for me. I love it.
Yeah, you've got a lovely, unique perspective of the crossover from the dance world to fantastic. Right, we have one final thing to do, and that's our rapid fire questions.
Okay.
And I might mix it up a little bit here. I've had some advice from some of the surveys I've sent out to change up a few of these questions. But this is Stephen in a nutshell. What's your favourite food?
I gotta say pizza. I shouldn't be saying that because I'm promoting a workout here, but anyway.
For your cheat day?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. River dance or Lord of the Dance?
I have to say Lord of the Dance.
Oh, okay.
You know what? It kind of changes. Sometimes when I watch Lord of the Dance, I say, yeah, I love it. And then I look at Riverdance. I love the music in Riverdance. There's lots of tunes that I would pick from Riverdance. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn between the two, to be honest.
And that's fair enough. And it's lovely to hear. It's lovely to hear tunes from both of them being played at Feshes at the moment. Yeah, great. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I suppose the best piece of advice I was given, I think it was by one of my school teachers maybe, was just that if you want something, go and get it. And there's no other way of really doing that. It's just you got to put in the work, and if you want something bad enough, you can achieve it. It's helped me to really strive towards my goals and achieve the things I wanted to achieve, and you just got to put your mind to it. Another piece of advice, I suppose, for dancers is listen to your music. And I'm sure dancers, I'm sure dancers are being told this left, right, and centre every time they walk into class or by their parents at home. But it's so true. If you, particularly your set dance, if you listen to your music, you go to bed at night, stick in your iPod, you listen to your set dance. You got to visualize yourself doing it on stage. I remember the night before I won my first Worlds, and I stuck in the headphones and I imagine myself doing my drunken gauger on stage the way that I wanted to do it. And it's all about visualization, you know.
Absolutely. I've got goosebumps because that's absolutely perfect. When I was a dancer, I used to do exactly the same thing. Visualize myself dancing perfectly.
Yeah.
Perfectly. But listening to the music, I don't think we can stress it enough how important you must start with the music.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's great. Great advice. Is there a book that's changed your life?
I remember actually a book that I read in transition year, believe it or not, and I think the name of it was it really was a life-changing year. It was, yeah, and I was only 16, but you know, it can be any age for different people, but I think the book that I read was something called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. I think
Stephen Covey.
That's exactly who it is. And if for anyone who's around 15, 16, 17, I would highly recommend getting your hands on this book, because it just kind of sets out basically how you should be doing life, you know. And again, that was a life-changing year for me. I started music, and I started doing really well in dancing too. So check it out if you can.
Absolutely. Change in mindset. It's a phenomenal book. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Definitely not. Sorry, Martin.
Okay, so a couple of different questions. If you had a superpower, what would it be? Or what would you like it to be?
Maybe to be able to know every single tune in the world.
That would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
That would be fantastic, yeah.
Call you a super musician. When you were dancing, what was your favourite? What were you good at? What were you particularly good at? And what were your challenges as a dancer?
Do you mean in dancing as a whole, or what dance? Or both?
Well, both, yeah. You can answer all of that.
I suppose my thing was my rhythm and timing. And again, that comes from listening to your music. You got to know when you're supposed to be hitting those beats on the floor. And to complement that, I suppose my favourite dance was my set dance, because you got to show off what you can do with your feet and with your treble. So that was definitely my favourite part.
Did you have any challenges?
Not really, and I suppose this is going to be a strange thing for all the dancers out there to hear, but I actually used to enjoy going out to do my set dance. It was just one.
Not a strange thing.
Well, you know, some people would be like, "Oh, I'm very nervous and I'm doing a new set dance." But I used to, you know, I used to love it. It was my thing. So, and at times, you know, when I was kind of at the latter stage of kind of getting second and third and trying to get to the top, my downfall would have been my first 2 rounds, and then I come out and I did this great set dance, but at times it would have been too late. But thankfully in the end it worked out okay. So
good. I love that. So that's all great. Is there any particular advice you would give to let's ask for aspiring dancers and aspiring musicians?
Just follow your dreams and do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
It's very important to do something that you love and that you're passionate about. You got to have the passion there.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you, Stephen, very much for coming in to my makeshift studio here for the North American Nationals. I really appreciate it, and for all the listeners out there, you need to check out the Ultimate Irish Dance Workout, and I'll put all the links in the show notes, so please check it out. Once again, thanks, Stephen.
Thanks very much, Martin.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Irish Dance Podcast. If you haven't already, please go to iTunes or your favourite podcast app and subscribe to our podcast. That would be great. And if you are on iTunes, if you wouldn't mind please leaving a review, that would be awesome. Thank you very much. Please visit our website at theirishdancepodcast.com. There's also a survey there where you can fill in what you think about the show so far. So look forward to your feedback and have a great day. Bye-bye.